swag, yeah, that's the brand, and we get to the.
What is going on? All right, let me get this chat box up and running. All right, so we have another beginners class starting up today. We're gonna just take this thing nice and slow, and I'm gonna show you how you can win with some of the most simplistic forms of trading possible, right? It's still not easy to do because now you got to fight your human nature, but I'm gonna teach you how to do it, and then I'm gonna leave the rest up to you. All right. Now, what do I mean by fighting human nature? Okay, let me straighten this out a little bit. There we go. And what I mean by fighting human nature, basically what that means is I can show you how to win. I can show you where the market is going. I can show you where to buy, where to sell. I can show you all of that stuff, right? However, human nature comes into play, meaning greed, fear, and a little bit combination of both, which I would even call, just emotional instability, right? And what I mean by that basically is, okay, the combination of both is where most people get stuck. And the reason why I say this is because you're fearful because you don't know where the market is going, and you're afraid that if you are in profit, that you're going to lose the profit. So you hurry up and take those because at any given time, this thing can fall. That's one. Number two, you're fearful because when it's falling, let me not buy that because I don't know where it's falling to. Step out of the way. Right? And so these are the two fear-based things that I've seen probably hurt majority of traders / investors, right? And the reason why these classes are very important is because I don't care where you stand as far as I'm risky, I'm not risky, I want to trade, I don't want to trade. If you live in America, I keep saying this, and as a matter of fact, if you live in any type of capitalistic society, you have to be in the stock market or some form of the equities market in order to survive, or no, in order to thrive in a capitalistic society. All right. Yeah, Chris, it's definitely one of those things you got to get better at, right? And so, yeah, so for anybody who's wondering, like, is this for everybody? Is it not for? Yeah, it's for everybody. It's for everybody. You have people who can day trade. Cool. They can stomach, people like me, we can stomach the ups and downs and the fast nature of it. And you have people who have 401ks, pension funds, whatever you feel like you want to go through, the IRAs, the pensions, and you still need to know what it is I'm showing you right here. The reason why, right? I'm not gonna spend all my time like going over this stuff, because I know we need to get to the teaching aspect of it. But the reason why I'm saying this is, or the reason why I started this is because when I was working a job, AWG, Associated Wholesale Grocers, Goodlettsville, Tennessee, right? I was working at a warehouse, and we had a 401k. And of course, you can go in there and kind of self-direct where you want to sit things. All right, what do you want in this 401k? You want some Apple? You want this? You want that? Right? And you can go in there and pick certain things in your 401k and say, okay, if this goes up, my 401k goes up, right? My 401k goes up. Family said, I know that place all too well. You work there? So yeah, like legit, I didn't know what the hell to do with my 401k, right? And I'm not supposed to be cussing because I know it should be some kids here, right? Uncle Tay, Uncle Tay, sorry, we working on the cussing part, right? But anyway, I didn't know what to do with my 401k. I didn't know what to go into. I didn't know what was good, what was bad, what was oversold, overbought. I didn't know any of that, right? I did not know any of that. So for me, I'm like what? Just buy something, right? And so my 401k performed horribly until somebody came in and said, Tay, I had an older guy, Reggie. I'll never forget Reggie. Reggie ended up hitting the lottery and for like 800K. And he had already been in AWG for like 12 years. 13 years, 15 years, something like that. And so he had made enough in his 401k and he had $800,000. So he retired, right? Because Reggie was old. He was, 60. So it was Reggie that had me focus my attention on knowing what the heck is going on in the stock market, right? And so that is what made me say, okay, no matter who you are, you need to know what this is. If you work a regular job, you should have a 401k. If you don't have a 401k, you should have an IRA. If you don't have an IRA or a 401k, you need to get one if you're working a regular job, right? If you're not working a regular job, then more than likely you might play the game that I play. Maybe you're doing business, you have your own business, and then you're taking money from your business and putting it into other people's businesses so you make money when they make money. That's how we play the game. All right. Then you got some people who also add, in addition to that, they want to day trade. Cool. That's totally fine. No matter where you are on that spectrum, right, you still need to know these charts. And so last week we went over support and resistance, right? And that's right, at least have a life insurance policy. If not, a combination of all of this stuff, right? If you got a 401k, life insurance policy, IRA, brokerage account, your own business, a house, like if you got all of that stuff, you killing it, right? You killing it. You killing it. But no, that's how it works. So my goal has been to show what we need to look for. Okay, so once again, we did support and resistance last week, right? We did support and resistance last week. And this week, we're going to continue that, but we're going to just scale up to the next thing that can be used as support and resistance. Just to give you a quick refresher, support and resistance. Support is anything that the price is above and holds up. So when you hit it, it's being supported, right? Support, 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 right? Resistance, anything that's above the price. And as the price goes up, it hits it and then it falls. So you have support and resistance. And what you will see is the stock will just play ping pong in between support and resistance a lot of times, right? And so that's one thing that we need to look for. Now, keep in mind, you have support and resistance that's horizontal, meaning it goes side to side. And then you have support and resistance that's either can be really vertical, but it's more in a, we call it in a trend. It's a trend line, right? So it's more vertical or it's more slanted. So it can be slanted down or slanted up, right? And so those are your support and resistance. Now we're gonna go into something that I've had the pleasure of being able to use this in multiple ways. We'll focus on the first one. That's the word I was looking for, Gigi. Thank you. Diagonal. All right. So you have diagonal support and resistance. All right. That's great. So today I want to teach you a little something, and we could probably spend weeks on this, but we're gonna get I guess this could be part one, of the live. We're gonna talk about EMAs. Okay. EMAs. All that basically means is an exponential moving average, or to make it short, moving average. What does that mean? This is the price. Let me show you on the charts. Let's share the charts. All right. So we'll go into the charts and we're going to break this down. All right. So let me share my screen. Boom. All right. Now, the way you're going to find EMAs, and the reason why we use EMAs versus MAs, because there's two of them. Don't let this get you intimidated or confused. There's two of them, but we like to use more sped up versions, right? Sometimes we might be a little early to the party, but I'd rather be early than not show up or to get left behind. So that's why we use EMA. So you're going to click indicators. You put EMA, and it's going to say moving average exponential. Boom. Right now you click it and it should populate over here. It's taking this little time, but it should populate over here. All right. Now, while it's populating, as you see, it's populating. As it's populating, I'm going to say this. You are going to get people, especially on YouTube, right? You're going to get people who are going to say things like, lagging indicators don't work or blah, 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 blah. These are people who don't know what they're doing, right? These are people who they've tried to use the free methods on YouTube. They lost money and then they wiped their hands and said it doesn't work. Going back to the same thing I taught y'all last week, this is just like relationships. A woman or a man, they'll get in a relationship, they'll get their heart broke, and then they'll say, relationships don't work. Don't fall. I'm telling y'all, do not fall for that stuff. All right. Do not fall for that stuff. This stuff works. I've been using it for years. Okay. What's good, Jonathan? Right. Like I think that's become like one of the most popular things, like lagging indicators. And it's like, okay, whatever. All right. So what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna start super basic. Super basic. We're gonna go 10 EMA. Basically, what this means, to keep it super simple, this means that this line is tracking the average price of the last 10 candles. Okay, remember, these are candlesticks. 1 candlestick, 2 candlestick, 3 candlestick, 4 candlestick, right? 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so the average price of the last 10 months. Now I'm saying months because we're on the monthly chart. Now what we can do is go down to the 4 hour. And what this will then show you, okay, here is the average price of the last 10 4-hour candles. It's the average price. All right. Now this is going on YouTube, so I'm not going to get too saucy with this, but just know there is more to it if you use your common sense. I ain't gonna get too crazy, but I'm gonna just say that it's more to it if you use your common sense. I can say that. All right, I'll give you that much. So we're gonna do a 10, a 20, and these are just close ranges. Now, you can also change the colors. So I like to change my colors and make my 20 EMA yellow. Common sense ain't always common, is a fact. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and add 2 more. Okay. Add 2 more. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a 50. These are kind of like your standard EMAs, right? These are standard EMAs. I like my 50 to be orange, and then you're gonna use a 200. I like my 200s to be red, right? Now the reason I make 200 red is because I need like stop sign red. I need to see that, and I need you to know that the red, anytime you see a 200 EMA, that is something that is going to be very strong, very powerful. And if we look back through history, anytime you see price come down to that 200 EMA, it is going to be a very strong support. All right, strong support. And if you can get underneath it, it is going to be a strong resistance. Okay. So, that being said, let's go over it. Let's look at it. And let's see what we have here. Okay. So, this is a monthly chart. And all I'm trying to show you here is that without drawing any other lines, these lines draw themselves. They follow themselves. But I just want to show you, without drawing any other lines, look at your history. Look, monthly chart, every time you hit the 10 EMA, it bounces. Hit it, support. Goes up to the next level, hit it again, support. Oh, came back this time, hit the 10. Oh, went past the 10 a little bit, hit the 20, support. Next level, right? And it just keeps going. And so a lot of times, I hate to be this person. But a lot of times, if you just wanted to keep things super simple and you wanted to be, super safe, super simple, and you wanted to kind of be, what's the word I'm looking for? If you were a beginner and you're like, look, Tay, I don't have a lot of time to learn a bunch of this stuff. I just need to make my money work for me. How can we do that? You can simply go to a S&P 500 is what this is. You can just put in these 4 EMAs that I just showed you, and literally you can give yourself 4 scale ends at all times. At all times, you can give yourself 4 scale ends. What does that mean, Tay? That means if I have 4 EMAs and I have 4 scale ends, that means I am going to buy at each EMA, right? And so now, if we're looking at it, this is for my people with 401ks. This is for my people with IRAs. This is for my people with pension funds or people who just need to put even insurance policies or whatever. You want to put some money in a safe place? My safe folks, this is for you, right? This is for you because you're going back to work. You're not trying to replace your job. You just want your money working for you. So as your IRA is in place or as you are contributing to your 401k and you getting a match from your job or whatever, you just want your money working for you. And this is a great place to go. So when it hits the 10 EMA, you buy it. Usually it goes up. Most of the time it goes up. If it hits the 20, you buy that one too. Most of the time it'll go up from there. But if for some reason, and let's look at history, using this monthly chart, you rarely go past the 50. Rarely. They were together right here, but you rarely get past the 50. So usually you're not going to need 4 scale ends, but you always got some money in your pocket just in case it wants to get down here. And so look, you could have been at the tippity top highs when this thing was falling, right? You could have bought at 14.29. You could have, even though it's very close, you could have bought it at 13.62. You could have then bought right here at 11.89, and you could have bought when it got down here to about, what is that, $800. And so this is what we call averaging in, or I call it scaling in, right? And what the reason why you would want to do that, of course, keep in mind, this is for my safe folks because we're playing on the monthly chart. But the reason why we do that is because this gives you a better cost basis. So if you bought, once again, at 1,400, 1,300, 1,100, and 800, you probably have an average price of about, let's just say $1,200. It's probably a little bit lower than that, but we'll say 1,200, right? $1,200. And so you were able to get that price locked in 2002, right? Now, as it moved up, you got back to 1,500. Let's just say you didn't even take profit there. You were like, you know what? I'm up $300 per share, but I don't want to take that. What if it goes higher? Cool. This thing falls, and what do you keep doing? Because you should still be working for money. This thing falls, and what are you still doing? These EMAs are really at the same price. So I just say like 1,400 right there, 1316, and then it gets right back down to $1,000. So as you're working, because keep in mind, this is 07, 08. So you've had it since here. And so let's just say it falls. You keep buying with today's money. All good. You keep that money in there to load in, right? And once again, you probably got a cost basis of about $1,200 now, but you got more shares because you've been accumulating these shares, right? You've been accumulating these shares. And then what happens? You get this. So you have a $1,200 cost basis. $1,200 cost basis, and we're sitting at almost 5,000, right? So for every share you had or have, for every share you have, you are sitting pretty. Literally, you're sitting, what's that, $3,000, $4,000 in the profit, right? And so, yeah, it's a patience thing, yeah. And this was what, 20 years? So if you've been working, I almost guarantee most people have been working, most people on this live have been working for 10, 20 years. And so that's how this thing works, okay? That's how this works. And so you're gonna get times, yeah, crash. And look at this, 2018, or excuse me, 2020 crash, although it got low, it still didn't make it down to your $1,200 cost basis. Message, So even in a crash, you still sitting pretty. Forget about it. All right. And you're still sitting pretty. And at this point, you could still be averaging in 10 EMA, 20 EMA, 50 EMA. Didn't get to the 200, but you could have took that, right? Still averaging in. That might have brought you up to a $1,600 cost basis because you're buying it while it's a little higher. And then it just comes back on up. Right. So what I'm showing you is this literally super simple. You just come in and you could check it once a month. These candles close on the monthly basis. So once again, when this came down here, you could, that was September 2022. You could have checked it October 1st. Oh, that's a 50 EMA. I'll buy that. I ain't gonna look at the chart until November 1st, right? And so what you can do is just every first of the month, just check it. Just check your monthly chart. And this is for my long-term people, right? And you just want to chill out, you know, put your money to work, right? Tyra, now you're asking the right question. Tyra, I'm not going to say it, but because you asked the question and you right there, I'm going to just say this. What did I say it means? It's an average, right? So if that's your average, that's your average line, then look at the number. I'll just say that. I'm telling you, it's very common sense. You really just need to think very simple about it. All right. But yeah, I won't put that on the internet. So it's going on YouTube for y'all to have a replay. And I don't want everybody to have that because I'm telling you, you won't hear anybody talk like that. I'm one of the only people who will say something like that. Right. Secure to put. So yeah, but no, so seriously though, like this is very simple. Now I'm showing y'all the monthly chart. You want to get a slightly little difficult, more difficult, we just take it down. We go to the weekly chart. But as you know, support and resistance is still there. Support and resistance still there. So look, as we go, goes up, come down, support, 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 support. Oh, broke through. What happens? Resistance, fall, resistance, fall, resistance, fall. And so it's trying to break its way up. Gets right back above it, right here, support, and runs off. Support, support, runs off. Right? So once again, this is how it works. Okay, support and resistance. It's a weekly chart, so it can get a little bit more difficult, right? But this essentially is going to be very simplistic way of doing things. And once again, you can also come behind that and then start adding in your support, drawing your support lines, right? Super simple. Doesn't need to get very messy. Super simple. And for people who are like, I can't see certain things, what you can then do is you can separate your screens. You can have one screen just for moving support and resistance, and you can have one screen for EMAs, just to keep your eyes nice and, you know, keep your chart clean and keep your eyes focused on one thing, right? But this right here gives you beautiful confluence points, right? Beautiful. So once again, this is how it works. You could have known, hey, we should be buying somewhere in here, running it off, right? Now, once again, this stuff does work on all time frames. So we can go as low. What's good, Eric? We can go as low as 5 minutes. Let me show you something. Once again, you do have to be mindful. It's still tougher when you on a 5-minute chart. All right. Much tougher on a 5-minute. But let's look at history. What is history? Just looking at recent history. What does history show us about the EMAs? Same thing. Same thing. All right. Same thing. Nothing has changed. It gets above it, support, support, support. You get down and it pops back up. Boom. Support, 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 support. All of this support. Once you get underneath it, resistance, and then it runs down to your support. 200 EMA, support, 200 EMA, bounce back up, support, 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 right? And so this is how this thing works. Now, one of the things I will say before we get off, the more I see them knocking on the door, the more likely it is they're getting ready to break it on the next door knock. And what I mean by that is they knocked on the door here, the buyer stepped in. They came back, they knocked on the door to 200 EMA again. The buyers took it up. They even knocked on the door 2 more times right here on the 200 EMA. And guess what? It looks like they're getting ready to knock on the door again because this was resistance. So they're getting ready to take this thing back down. The next visit that I see coming on this, I think they're going to break it and then hold it as resistance and then run it down. Y'all can check behind me, check behind this. I like to do things that have timestamps. So y'all can come back and check this video out and tell me if I was right or wrong, right? But what I am seeing is that we are struggling up here, right? We're struggling right here to make higher highs, right? And it just keeps narrowing and narrowing and narrowing. So usually what we see when that happens is, yes, it'll go back up potentially, hit this area, and when it comes back to revisit this bad boy, yes, we should break it and then run down, all right? So that's my time for today. If this was helpful, if you enjoyed it, if it was something that you needed, let me get some fire emojis, please. Fire emojis, fire emojis. I appreciate y'all, family, most definitely. So I'll keep this going as long as y'all are showing up, right? If people are showing up, it's helpful, I'll keep doing this, right? As soon as people aren't showing up or I don't feel like it's helpful, I'll stop, all right? So with that being said, I'm gonna let y'all go. I'll download this and make sure we get it on YouTube so you can go back, rewatch it, and really get good at this stuff, all right? Make sure y'all rewatch this stuff 5, 10 times. Really get good at it. Memorize it, right? The more you can memorize it, the better you'll get. I'll say that much. Other than that, I'm going over to teach my STB folks. We got way more stuff to talk about, so let's get into that. All right. So for my STB folks, y'all go to the group, to the chat group, and I'll go ahead and drop the link for the next class. All right. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's weekend.
Secure the bag, yeah, that's the brand, and we get to the bag. These private flights.